We've got ourselves an ice storm potential, a corridor of some heavier snow as winter weather is not done, but also thunderstorm activity ramping up. Here's on Thursday across the plains into the Midwest, a little bit more towards portions of later Friday, and then this system will redevelop as we go Saturday, and then Sunday's probably the big one. Look at all this energy. This is convective available potential energy, the amount of juice that can go towards thunderstorms. It's going to be fairly far north into the Ohio Valley. That system dies down across the southeast into Monday, and then we will see another chance redevelop as we go on in towards your Thursday across mid-Mississippi, southern Mississippi Valley, the kind of that deep south area. Sunday's kind of that big risk to really watch. Could be a tornado outbreak somewhere in this vicinity, and depending on exactly where the front is, this will shift a little bit north or south, but definitely some more widespread severe weather can't be ruled out with that chance. This is going to be really the signs of a much more active pattern, and it's already been active in much of March with 228 reports of tornadoes, 1,500 reports of damaging wind gusts as well. So really, once we've gone through much of the eastern half of the country, you can see those far-reaching different effects. Showers and thunderstorms developing on the southern side of this for your Friday. There's the batch of the freezing rain, snow to the north. This is going to be multiple waves. So one low moves on through, and then we're going to follow these different pressure systems as they go east. Snow, freezing rain along that boundary line, and then showers and thunderstorms further off towards the south. There's more of that into Monday morning. Watch for that icing event. Could shift a little bit north or south. That 50 to 100 miles is going to make a huge difference, but cold front comes on through, bringing in some snow showers and much colder air as we go on in towards Monday and Tuesday across much of the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, Midwest, into the Northeast, and then there'll be a little bit more activity into the middle portion of the week out west. 2 inches are likely in spots as we go throughout portions of the Ohio Valley and up into much of the Northeast. This is over the next 2 weeks, and a lot of areas at least have a chance at that. So this is going to be a very active pattern. This is one snowfall forecast. Is this the one to run away with and say this is going to happen? No, not necessarily. This is to show you that, yeah, we're not done with winter type weather, and this is probably more of that worst case scenario. This is overcounting. And then let's show you another computer model here in just a little bit. But I think this does a fine job to show that there'll be plenty of activity still across the west with a very moist pattern, so those mountains are going to get in on plenty of snow. This was the American-run GFS model, but if we take a look at the Canadian model, you'll see that there's a pretty big difference out across the east, with the snow swath staying well to the north across much of Ontario into maybe the UP of Michigan, and then really not much of anything into the northeast, and certainly not across like Michigan and in towards Wisconsin too much at all. So things to keep an eye on, but there's certainly going to be snow chances for some of you as we go throughout that next week. Now, what about the freezing rain? This is probably the biggest deal. And is this going to be accurate as far as the amounts? No, we're not going to see an inch of actual icing accreted, but it does suggest that 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 an inch in a swath somewhere in towards Wisconsin, Michigan, into maybe upstate New York, southern Ontario is certainly possible. It's going to be a bigger deal type of a system in a narrow batch. Precipitation-wise, staying above average not only over the next few days, but really the next 10 days or so, well above across much of the west. This has been kind of a continuing type of a setup. Beautiful view here, mountains and water, love it. This is into a little bit of the science and meteorology. So we have different circulations, oscillations in the atmosphere. They teleconnect, they affect other things. It's like kind of that domino effect when things fall, or like when the butterfly flaps its wings. It all relates. So this is a thunderstorm activity pattern that moves in different areas of the globe. So when it's in phase 7 and 8, so it kind of bounces around this circle here, but you could see the concentration in the yellow color between 7 and 8, 7. That over the next few weeks or so will generally yield more of an up and down pattern, but the atmosphere wants to be warm, so it's probably going to favor slightly above average across the country as a whole, and some spots well above. Here's the warming trend going into the weekend.